Hi, Scorpio. Welcome to the extended part of your quantum read. So, as you guys know, with these readings, I already pre-pull the cards. These are the cards that I pulled in the pre-shuffle, and I use the Fairies Oracle by Brian Froud. So, I'm just gonna dive right in. So, here was kind of the clarification I was getting about how this is the Lady of the Harvest. This is a culling. So this is where you guys completely cut each other out of your life. And I'm drawn to the 1 and the 8. 1 plus 8 is 9. 9 is in numerology, it's closing of a chapter. In tarot, the 10 is a closing of a chapter, but in numerology, 9 is the last cycle energy, if that makes sense. So you guys came to a close in the past. That's just clarifying the world card right there. It was perfect to come out. So what I think, it's like in your mind, Scorpio, this is what I thought was fascinating coming out next. We've got the undressing of a salad, achieving the impossible. And I think in your mind you are at the point, especially with this connection in this relationship, that it would be impossible for them to change, for them to heal. That's what I'm seeing, because that's what I was saying in the previous video, how the panther and the hyena, you thought they'll never change. This is how they are. People don't change. It takes actual miracles to change. But what I'm getting, Scorpio, is that I think that your person has gone through a significant amount of pain. A lot. And I'm going to tell you guys straight up, especially from having my own mental health diagnosis and everything, the biggest waking up in your life will be pain. It's the pain that we experience motivates us to heal, to make changes, to do things, to never experience that again, right? It's our biggest motivator, our biggest epiphany and wake up call in our life. And so I think this is where you're at, Scorpio, is where you've cut this person out of your life. You're like, yeah, it would be completely impossible for them to actually change and heal. And that was the piece that you had to also make in your mind so that you could move on, so that you could just put a close to this and leave it in the past, okay? But what's interesting, this is how their energy is coming across, okay? For some of you, this could be a long time separation. Some of you, this could be recent. But what I'm seeing is that for this other person, this is Sylvanius. This is a mask coming off. This is truth being revealed. This is the sword of truth coming in and exposing some type of, it's like an illumination into an illusion, okay? It's seeing behind the way that we do things. It's like, why does this keep happening? Why does this keep happening? This is what this person is waking up to, which I found was really crazy, because especially in our society, there's this perception that a narcissist will never heal, right? And at least it takes a lot, is what I'm trying to say. But I think this is what this person has been experiencing, Scorpios. They've had some wake-up calls. And this is why I say this next. This was so crazy that came out next, is I think that this type of truth that they've been exposed to, and I do want to say that it's also correlated with pain. Maybe it's that the pain they experience from you cutting them out of their life, I think that they also experienced that from other people. They kept coming across job environments or other relationships, or maybe even family members that were cutting them out, and the intensity of the pain of it was probably a big waking up to them. It was that sort of truth that was completely slicing through their own toxic behavior. It was shining a light on their shadow so that they could have that illumination into the way that they operate, into the way of how they do things, right? Or why they come into dissatisfying relationships or painful relationships, right? That's what they're freaking waking up to. That's the mask that is falling away. The illusion that maybe they always paint themselves as the victim. They always think that they're the ones that are wronged. But in reality, they have been contributing. They've been, it takes two to tango. And so I think the way you're coming across, Scorpio, is that you're pretty good at taking the accountability. You're good at owning up to things. You're very good and like have that self-awareness where you're like, okay, I realize where I did wrong and where I contributed to maybe this codependency, or maybe where you were kind of innocent even though you were getting red flags at the beginning. I think that you're pretty good at like being compassionate about your innocence, but also using that knowledge that you attained looking at the beginning and seeing where the red flags are and using that for the future. You've attained that wisdom, is what I wanted to say, Scorpio. But the next part that's coming out, which I thought was crazy, is this was just clarifying it. This is the Glancona. This is that. All of that. A narcissist. It's someone who puts on a grandiose image and covers up all their shame, guilt, and fear, all their low vibrational emotions. Someone very manipulative. And what I think is fascinating is that they have been like tapped, is what I'm wanting to say. This is Nalise the Alchemist. It's someone who has alchemized. So that's pretty much what I'm wanting to say, Scorpio. So if there's someone that's coming back into your awareness, I think that you're still kind of like, whatever, telepathically connected to them, some type of thing like that. You still feel them. You're still entangled with them and their energy. Even though you've been really good about keeping your emotions connected to that person, you still occasionally have them come back into your thoughts. But it's almost like I'm hearing the phrase, I love that there's this saying, it's like, the sting I have felt, but I'm going to screw it up. I'm not even going to try because I'm terrible at these sayings. But it's like, you will never let it sting you again. The memory of it will always be there, and you will always remember the pain that you went through from this person. And you will always use it for that wisdom to kind of like never put yourself in that situation again, Scorpio. But like I was saying, for some of you, it could actually be done just with the World card. But I am seeing that this person has actually evolved and grown. I think that they are having a huge freaking wake-up call, a really, really nice awakening. And so for some of you, if this person completely took advantage of you, or there was some type of injustice because of the Justice card, there was probably a lot of injustice between the two of you. And maybe you walked away wondering, like, are they ever gonna feel the pain of what they did? Like, are they ever gonna, like, understand what they put me through? Or, like any of that? Yes. This person is having a harsh kind of awakening into their patterns, into the way that they treat people. Because I'm going to tell you straight up, for some of you, this could also be an age gap. I don't know why that's popping out to me, but it could be applicable to some of you, because I'm also seeing that just kind of in this energy of the lamb, the nightingale, and the hummingbird, and the panther and the hyena. It just seems like a little bit off balance, maybe age-wise or maturity-wise. But this person, if they are older, for example, and they have seen what the heck, even at their age, that they're still not able to make a relationship work, that's what they're waking up to. That, guess what? The common denominator between all of those people that it didn't work out with was you. Not anyone else. You can't point the finger. You cannot blame anyone else any longer. It's you. This person is having a huge awakening. And I think there's a part of you, Scorpio, which I thought was interesting, because we have the singer of intuition. And I think that intuitively, that's why maybe they're coming back into your thoughts, or especially during this retrograde. It's like they're coming back into your awareness because they're feeling the remorse and the regret of what they have done, their actions. That's what they're partially waking up to too, is like, oh my gosh, look at what I did to Scorpio. And there's a lot of remorse behind this. So that's why I'm feeling like, Scorpio, you already detached your emotions, at least from the Scorpio that I'm picking up from, but your intuition is still entangled with them. Your energy is still entangled with theirs. And that's why when they think about you, right, there's that entanglement. They're affecting your behavior, and you're getting just this tapped in. You're getting tapped with your intuition that they're thinking about you, and they are, because they're kind of like psychologically reliving your whole relationship and playing it over in their mind, and they're going back through the moments of where they're now taking accountability. So even on their side, Scorpio, they might have the temptation to reach out and apologize or something, because this is what I'm saying. Oh man, I do think that there's going to be some communication coming in. Either you could be tempted, or there's something here with communication, and it's going to shock one of you. Okay? Like, this is big time. This is a tower moment. This is an unpleasant or a pleasant surprise. So that's where it's really going to be up to you guys, because, and with the topsy-turvets right next to it, it's going to completely turn you on your head and blow your mind. That's what I love about this card. It's going to completely shock you with this combination that, what the freaking heck, and especially with it coming out right underneath the undressing of the salad, and here's this truth, right, this sort of truth. I think it's gonna shock you that they have actually changed. They have achieved the impossible, that you thought people never change, and they have, because the pain that they experienced woke them up, woke them the F up. It's quite nice. Like, to be honest, I'm very happy to see this, because this is happening as a whole in our whole society. Because if one of us, when one of us evolves and becomes like, or has a third eye awakening, or wakes up to something and evolves and changes and becomes a better person, it affects everyone in the collective. And since you, Scorpio, if you've been doing the work, which I have a feeling you have, just because of the healing here, and at least the Scorpio that I'm picking up on in this particular energy, is that since you've done the work and you've entangled with this person, you're pulling their energy as well up. But you disconnected. That was what was needed. You had to almost play out their deepest, biggest fears of a fear of rejection and a fear of abandonment. You almost had to do that to them to help them wake up. Because the pain, you have to experience the pain to really make like profound changes in your life, especially for a narcissist. That's the main thing. That's the medicine that they need. Pain is our greatest awakener. And then here's what I think is really interesting. I think there's some communication coming in, okay? If at the least intuitively, you know it, you can sense it already. For some of you, you might even sense it before the person reaches out to you. Or if this is on the opposite side, or cross-watcher, it's like you can sense that the Scorpio is about to reach out to you. And what I found, this is what was really awesome. There's gonna be this communication comes in, but this is where, Scorpio, you're kind of putting your foot down, and you're like, okay, if you want to be in my life, this is a mastery number. This is like, these are the expectations of how our dynamic will work, how things will go between us. It's like there's going to be a lot of rules and boundaries, but it's almost like this person wants you in their life enough that they're willing to do this. And that's where the relationship, where it was in the past, is going to take a completely different turn. This is why I loved that this came out. This is the similar energy to the hummingbird. This is the hummingbird, like on steroids. It's someone, maybe a relationship or a job or something was going in one direction, one path, and then boom, it's like it goes in the complete opposite direction. So that's what's going to happen between the two of you if you feel open to it. Now, for those of you, seriously, I'm being so serious. This might apply to you, but for some of you, this person has not alchemized. Please use your common sense and your discernment about if this applies to your situation or not, okay? Don't just start reaching out to old narcissistic relationships and toxic relationships thinking they're going to change. Let the universe orchestrate it, because your guides and everyone, they will orchestrate the rendezvous if it's meant to happen. And that's the last thing that I kind of want to add in here, because I mean, here's union, here's the Lovers card straight up. That's why I wanted to throw that out there. But for some of you, what's meant for us will always return to us. Remember that you don't have to force anything. It will happen if it's meant to happen, okay? I'm just throwing that out there. And for those of you, if you are confused if that applies to you or not, please, 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 I'm not even saying this to promote myself. Please reach out for a one-on-one reading so I can tap into your specific individual energy, because this will not apply to everyone, okay? Just throwing that out there. So Scorpio, that is your message for the extended. I am sending you guys so much love, wishing you all the very best, and I will see you in your next reading. Take care.